My name is Clayborne Lyles, Lyles.
What is your birthday?
My birth date is 7/5/29.
You born in the year of Great Depression.
I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1929, and I stayed there until I was 17, which I joined the Navy, and I left Little Rock in 1947.
When did you join the Navy?
In 1947.
Why Navy?
Why anything at the time? I needed to get away, I thought.
Get away from what?
Well, poverty mostly.
Hmm.
I wasn't in extreme poverty, but I just wanted to get away because I felt that way. Why I felt that way, I can't explain it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was 17, I was grown.
Mm-hmm. So where did you get the basic training?
San Diego, California,
Nice place.
of course.
How long?
How long was the training? I think it was 11 weeks.
What kind?
Basic training. What we went through was training for, organization. That was about it, because being young at that particular time, there wasn't too much specifics. We had choices, but we choose later what we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I'm an engineer. I spent 21 years operation and maintenance of steam propulsion, make the ship go,
Oh.
and associated equipment, of course.
So that was your specialty?
Yes.
Engineer.
My rating in the military was machinist mate. That was the rating system at the time. But it's all pertaining to engineering, boiler operations, steam turbines, generators, all types of pumps,
Uh-huh.
air conditioning, refrigeration.
You were trained to do so, right?
Yes.
Ah, very good. Wasn't it hard to learn?
No, because I've always wanted to do that. And you want to do something that ain't hard to learn.
You wanted to be an
It
engineer.
only becomes hard when you don't want to do it. I wanted to be an engineer, so that was easy for me.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah,
And then where did you go after the basic?
I went aboard a ship.
What is the name of the ship?
My first ship was the USS Toledo, CA-133, which was a heavy cruiser.
Toledo? USS Toledo?
Toledo.
Could you spell it?
Toledo, Lyles.
Toledo.
Yeah, but
T?
that's the name of the ship.
Yeah. Can you spell it?
Yes. Toledo.
L-E-D. Oh, Toledo. Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of ship was it?
Well, it's a U.S. Navy vessel.
Vessel?
Yeah.
But there are many different kinds of vessels, right?
Oh, of course,
Toledo, what was it?
it all depends on size and what it's made for.
Mm-hmm.
A heavy cruiser was like a battleship, big ship.
How many crew there?
I don't exactly remember.
But roughly 100, 200?
I could, no, I would probably say about 500. And that was a ship that had a wooden deck.
Uh-huh.
Wooden deck. They don't have wooden decks anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that was quite an experience.
Very nice. Must be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nicer than the iron, you know?
Yeah, very nice.
How is it to live in a ship with the 500 of your colleagues?
Well, at that particular time, we have to go back to being 17, and you volunteer to do certain things, it's no big deal. It's just it's what you selected.
So where did you go with this ship?
My first port of entry was Hawaii.
Nice.
And well, actually, my first port of entry on the Toledo was Long Beach, California. I left San Diego. I boarded the ship in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I was assigned to the ship in San Diego.
Mm. And then what happened to you after Hawaii?
Well, we went to several ports at the time. The USS was involved in, the United States was involved in people-to-people program. And they had certain ports they were allowed to go to, and that's what they did. They went to show their strength. I believe that's what it was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So no combat mission, but just go into
Yeah.
harbor and show your ships
Right, absolutely.
and representing America.
Absolutely, that's what it was all about.
Ah. So when did you know and how did you come to know about the breakout of the Korean War?
Kind of difficult, but at an early age, you don't have too much to think about. And what you have to really realize is, being a volunteer, you don't have too much to say against my country, right or wrong, if you volunteer. And that's the way I looked at it. If you're not a volunteer, you can do a lot of complaining.
Uh-huh.
I've been through a few programs here. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I told the facilitator, I said, I have no business here. I said, because these people have been through a lot, and I haven't been through.
Where were you when the Korean War broke out?
That I cannot answer. I spent 21 years in, from 47 to 68, and I could find out, but
Were you in Asia?
not on the shore. We operated out in the ocean,
What ocean?
Pacific,
Pacific Ocean.
38 parallel, all around Guam.
All around the Korean Peninsula?
Yeah.
Ah.
What happened, I can't remember what my feelings were when I was in the war zones. Being a volunteer, you're there. And being young and dumb, you don't care. That's the way I was feeling. I didn't have no fears about it. And
So you were actually participating in the war, Korean War, in the
Yes.
ocean, right?
we were out on what they call, some of them were independent ship operations, but we were there for the people that was on the shore, for certain fixes they would do with the seagoing vessels.
Uh-huh.
That was about it. And we were on what we call SAR, S-A-R, search and rescue.
Oh.
So what that entailed is something that you've never seen. You've probably never seen or heard about this. On one ship I was on, this is years later, same type of operation, SAR, search and rescue. We rescued 22 pilots being shot down in the ocean.
Was it east or west of Korean Peninsula? You were in east or west?
I don't know, but we operated on the 38th parallel.
Around 38 parallel.
Yeah.
Can you describe the moment that you rescued one of the pilots? Any scene that you can describe?
Well, it's it's a kind of jubilation when you know you've saved a person out of the ocean, way out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
I had an incident that took some time to correct.
Uh-huh.
We picked up a pilot, and we had a skipper that was a very good skipper. But he got close to the pilot. Well, being close is being close. It's less work to get him aboard, right? And in doing so, the pilot's parachute got entangled in what we call a main injection, and it disabled one of the engines. But I knew what happened right away. I knew the tactical situation. I knew what we were doing. And then when I was told that we were losing vacuum, and there wasn't no guesswork, being that close to the pilot, and he got out of the parachute, and this big injection pump, it sucked it up into the engine. So now we are without one engine. But we decided that we didn't have to go to the Navy Yard. Took about 18 hours, steady work.
18 hours working on what? Repairing?
Well, disassemble this big pump, a rotary type pump.
Uh-huh.
And the skipper was right there working with us. We were sharpening the knives, and we were cutting the nylon parachute away from the impeller. It took that long. But in doing so, we discovered how stupid we did it. Because all we had to do was take the torch and melt it out and flush it out. But we were cutting it out with knives, little pieces at a time. And I told this guy, well, I'm not going to use the words I called him. But anyway, we were friends. But we discovered we could have been quick. We could have did it in less time. But that was one of the incidents. We've had quite a few incidents at sea. And it's difficult to remember all the stuff that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you actually see the pilot in the ocean?
Yeah.
What they were doing?
What do you mean?
How was the situation? Were they swimming or what happened?
Well, you know, they have this survival gear. It's well, this one I remember particular. He was shot in his butt, and he was bleeding. So they wanted to get him aboard right away. You know, keep from losing the blood. And that's a big joke in the middle of the ocean, shot in the butt. You know,
Yeah.
military stuff. It was very serious.
How did you know where pilot is in the ocean, that big ocean, and how did you find them?
They have these beakers, and they have all this modern technology, and they have, they can almost tell exactly where this guy is, how far he is from the ship, and they proceed to him. They have beacons of all type. You know, these, we call them noisemakers.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was it. That's how you find them. And then they're visible, you know, they can see.
What was you thinking when you rescued those pilots floating in the ocean? That's amazing, isn't it?
You feel so good.
That's
Because
amazing.
You know you participating in saving a person. Yeah, it's a lot of jubilation. Yeah.
So what happened to those pilots when you guys rescue them?
Well,
What do they?
They transfer them to other ships and then they go ashore or whatever. That type of technology and stuff, we don't follow it blow by blow, you know.
So when they were rescued, were they thankful?
Well, of course.
What do they say?
Well,
Do you remember anything?
I had no conversation with those people that was picked up, but you can tell by the look on their face how they feel, and you being a part of it, it's quite a feeling.
You saw them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice, isn't it? It's
But
very rewarding.
I was upset, not upset. You hear a lot of news clips about certain things, and I've always wondered why this was never publicized in the paper.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, well, you know, you hear little things that happen, and I had the attitude, so what? Well, we done picked up 22 guys at different times over a period of several years.
Mm-hmm.
Not like 22 a day.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
I was in an operation once. I never will forget it. You ever heard of General Quarters?
No?
General Quarters is a signal from whoever in the bridge. They sound the alarms
Mm-hmm.
and they announce it. All hands man your battle stations.
Mm-hmm.
That means something is happening. Well, this particular night at 2 o'clock in the morning, that happened. And this is what happened. They did not know who this, they call them bogies when they can't identify a plane. And it happened to be our planes, U.S. planes. But they did it just in time because it was getting ready to shoot them down. And they have on the ship an airplane IFF gear, identify friend or foe. So they did it just in time, but we were on a missile ship. They were getting ready to fire on it.
Mm-hmm.
That did not happen, so which was a good thing.
So, what was the main mission of USS Toledo?
Well, during the time I was on it, the main mission, I think, was people-to-people program, visiting and showing your strength.
But you were in the Korean War in the sea, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the main mission.
Yeah, well, the main mission then, I was on another ship, another type ship. The main mission then was to be operational force out for the people that was on the land.
Mm-hmm. How did you do that? How did you help the men in the land, soldiers?
Well, they have ways of communicating, which I don't have the knowledge of, but they have the ways of communicating with people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the Americans.
And then shelling?
Yeah, if necessary, the people on the beach would direct the naval vessels where to fire and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of that took place, but we never were involved in actual combat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was involved in a thing, the only time I was afraid at sea, my chief engineer told me we were doing some operation, and we were doing something like 32 knots going towards the beach. And he said, if we don't make a full right rudder in a few seconds, he said, we're gonna be dead. And at that same time, the ship started turning, and they were doing what they call a fix. I don't know all the particulars of it. It wasn't my game. My game was to keep the ship moving.
So you never saw any Korea. You were always in the sea.
We were always at sea.
And do you know what happened after the Korean War to Korea, South Korea? Do you know what now South
I read a
Korea?
lot about it, but it wasn't my interest, and I don't remember too much.
But now,
Oh yeah, well now,
Korean economy, Korean democracy. Have you heard about it?
I know
What do you know about the Korean economy now?
I know a little bit about it.
Tell me.
It's quite big now.
When were you in Korean Ocean? Was it 1951 or when were you in the Korean
I don't
Ocean?
remember. I was in the service serving from 47 to 68.
You must be in the Korean Sea around early Korean
Yes.
War, right?
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How long were you there?
And only about 3 months at a time. And then you go to ports.
Japan.
Yeah, Japan, Philippines. I spent a lot of time in Japanese ports.
Mm-hmm.
Yokosuka.
Any other message that you want to leave to this interview about your role in the Korean War?
No, not really. I'm glad it's over. You know, that's about it.
Are you proud of your service?
Of course, I'm a volunteer. I'm an American serviceman. I had a piece of paper that I wanted you to look at it, and it probably didn't mean anything to you, but it's what I'm considered as a 4-0 sailor.
What is it? Where is it?
That is in my paperwork, but that's the evaluation you get from your higher ups, and I was getting the highest marks they would give. I was always congratulated on my uniform. I had a lot of pride in keeping it. That's not too much, but that's part of it. They said, "Oh man, you're a full sailor, right?" There's a lot of people that have good stories that they can convey simply because they were involved in combat. We were involved in combat, but it's on a different level. All of the things that we did was very essential, but it wasn't like fighting a battle.
I know.
It was a part of the puzzle.
Thank you, Clayborne.
Okay?
Thank you.